No Man's Land is a 2016 novel by Simon Tolkien, and it is inspired by, but not based on, J.R.R. Tolkien's experience in the Great War. Simon being the grandson of said author, J.R.R. Tolkien, who was much more popular, of course, Simon being also the oldest child of Christopher Tolkien. The novel was published in tandem of the 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Somme, which Grandpa Tolkien fought in, and this battle is a key part of the novel, unsurprisingly. So, an epigram from Eliot's The Wasteland kicks us off in 1900. Islington, London, with Adam Rain, a young boy, son of a devout Christian mother and a not devout socialist father that is often out of work. The novel actually begins with Adam seeing a show for Punch and Judy, and that's the way to do it. It's a tough life where Daniel goes to socialist protests and strikes, and Lillian goes to church and beyond. It's a rather brutal start, drab, and a start that makes you question God, in a sense. Some good and thoughtful words on the page for it. Honestly, I enjoyed the start of this. Adam gets in a fight with a local boy when he moves. In this, we get told more than showing. That is obvious. Also, Adam is surprisingly good at fighting, though we have no word of previous spats. He also plays soccer with these boys, and this does a good job of showing camaraderie among young men as they learn discipline, friendship, honesty, how to be men, I guess. Sadly, I never really grew to like any of his friends. Rowden, maybe, was the most interesting in this arc. There are definitely some aspects of class difference that pop up in this, even though among the boys, everyone's lower class, but then later on, England, even today, I think would probably have some class struggle here. There's not so much focus on scholarly work and religion as for our main character that, Tolkien had in his life, though there is a love interest, Miriam, the parson's daughter. Not a lot of appreciation of nature either, though of course a coal mine is an obvious scar in the world. You don't really get the opposite of it so much. We do have things like Trinity College, Oxford, coming into play, though Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, I should say, studied at Exeter and taught at Pembroke, though Christopher Tolkien and Simon, the author here, studied at Trinity College. So maybe that's why it's in the book. We do have things like the cowardice of Bryce, the vanity of his father and mother, and not concerning the war, Bryce is made out a coward with many events before the breakout of said war. And I think those are done rather well. I also don't agree with the stereotype English speakers have that German sounds angry. It doesn't, but that shows up in the book, and it's pretty typical to see anything in English speakers say that German sounds angry. I don't think it does. Anyways, that's just a nitpick, though. Miriam herself, the love interest, doesn't have much personality, and Adam is quaintly irreligious and doesn't really give it any thought at all, ever. It seems bland and lame compared to John Ronald and Edith's love. Truly, I know it's an unfair comparison, but this book is okay. It has some very brief, great moments. Overall, it's rather mediocre. Compared to his grandfather, it just can't compare. And compared to his grandfather's actual life, it doesn't compare, which is why it's disappointing in a lot of ways, because scholarly stuff, the nature stuff, the religious stuff, all of it's just like some of it's in there, and not a lot, and a lot of it's just not in there at all. So what it does do well is make you really rage against the realities of war, though it's not the best I've seen of this either. You can cry about it, hate it, and that is well exposed. It's not just valiant deaths in battle, but the bad things people do there, the foolish things, the criminal things, and the effect this has on people back home, and so forth. But sadly, the latter half of the book is the weakest. While a desire for justice is craved, and the perpetrators feel like a mix of villains and sad sods caught up in villainy, the character of Adam is really just not that sympathetic. Sure, his war experience alienates him, but otherwise Tolkien doesn't really make him easy to connect with. So, again, the lack of love for nature, mythopoeia, Christ, or scholarly stuff really makes this really only similar to Granddaddy Tolkien in The Fighting of the Somme, which feels like a waste of a rather large novel. So I would recommend, besides just reading Tolkien's biography, which doesn't go too much into his war experience, I would say, if you want more of that, actually, try John Garth's book on Tolkien and the Great War. John Garth actually vetted this book, so I guess it's not inaccurate as far as his book is not even actually about Tolkien's life, but again, I would recommend his nonfiction book, Tolkien and the Great War by Garth. So, anyways, an okay book. I don't know. I wonder how much it sold just because of the name Tolkien attached to it. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.